We know what matters.
We're having fun at the Como Park MDA Carnival.
Good morning.
Now, from the action center of the Twin Cities, News 11 Sunrise. With John Bachman, Marty Burns-Wolf, Steve Carroll on sports, and meteorologist Sally Patrick.
Good morning to you. It is August 25th, a bright, brand new week for you. I'm Andrea Shane.
And I'm Dennis Stauffer, filling in for John Bachman this morning. It's a very pleasant 62 degrees outside. Nice morning. Let's check in with Barry Findon, Roy Findon.
Yes.
Hyphenating names there. Roy, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I like those words, brand new, bright, that Andrea used just a moment ago. I'm not sure how much of that we'll see on our Monday morning menu. We have the opportunity for some moisture later in the day, but much of the day will be rather pleasant. I'll have the full story in just a few minutes.
Has to be better than yesterday, huh, Roy?
Thank you.
Topping Sunrise, an early morning accident has left one man fighting for his life.
The accident happened shortly after midnight. According to Minneapolis police, the victim was walking with another person on a Chicago Avenue overpass when he dropped his knapsack onto Highway 94. When the man tried to retrieve the baggage from the highway, he was struck by a passing car. Authorities say the man was thrown a distance of 50 feet. He was taken to Hennepin County Medical Center, where he is reported in serious condition. A security guard was injured overnight at the gates of the state fairgrounds on Como Avenue. The guard was injured around 2 this morning when he was struck by a pickup truck and trailer that crashed through the entrance gates. The driver of the truck was caught by St. Paul police following a chase on foot, and he's in custody this morning. The condition of the guard has not yet been released. And Minneapolis firefighters were also kept busy this morning. They were called to battle a smoky fire at 5744 25th Avenue South. According to authorities, the fire started in the kitchen because of an electrical problem. Fire officials say no one was home at the time of the blaze.
Some people who bought tickets on Frontier Airlines are going through some trying times this morning. The airline went out of business over the weekend and left people holding tickets scrambling to find flights on other airlines.
United, and then there's a couple of Continental flights, and something out of work.
United and Continental Airlines say that they are going to honor Frontier's tickets, but Frontier ticket holders may have to wait a while for flights that have openings. The strike is over and things are finally returning to normal at the FMC plant in Fridley this morning. For the first time in 4 weeks, there was activity at the plant overnight. The union settled its strike with the company late last week.
It was quite a different story for workers at Deere & Company plants overnight. The company locked out union members who showed up for work at all 8 plants in Iowa and Illinois. The United Auto Workers declared a strike at 3 of the company's plants 4 days ago, and the company has retaliated by locking out union workers at Deere's other locations. Representatives of striking workers and the Hormel Company will be meeting later this morning to address their differences. They'll be meeting in Des Moines to talk about the right of fired Austin workers to return to work and about the strike, which now may affect Hormel workers in 5 other states.
The Mounds View City Council is going to meet this morning to plan its next action against Williams Pipeline. On Friday, a judge ruled against any injunction by Mounds View to stop Williams from testing its pipeline. An explosion from that line killed 2 people last month. Under the latest ruling, Williams is permitted to test the Mounds View pipeline. Tonight, Ludeman and Lindau come head-to-head in a debate. The 2 leading independent Republican candidates for governor, Cal Ludeman of Tracy and arch-rival Mayor Jim Lindau of Bloomington, begin their debate at 8 p.m. and it will be held at the Minnesota Press Club. Tickets for that are $7.50.
Well, there was no debating this morning. The gates at the State Fair opened at 6 o'clock as scheduled.
And Carolyn Marinan was out at the fairgrounds overnight. She was very busy, weren't you, Carolyn?
How did you know? Yeah, they opened at 6 o'clock, but I've been here longer. I've been keeping warm. It is kind of cold out here, and I've been sipping on some warm coffee at Pete's Shop. Now, the fair is pretty dead in the middle of the night, but Pete's Shop is a place to go if you want a good cup of coffee or something to tie you over. We were here for a long time, and overnight, the stools here, they're a little bare now, but they were full.
Number 2.
3 a.m. and Pete's Shop at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds is open for business. You'll find your basics here at the counter, plenty of hearty food, not to mention a good hot cup of coffee. And at 3 in the morning, there aren't any other places to find a mug of Java. In fact, Pete's Shop is open for 21 hours. When the corn dog booths close up and the food building locks its doors, Pete's shop is still catering to the hungry. Most of those hungry or just weary people are locals of sorts, here to exhibit one thing or another. And they're all happy to share Pete's counter 12 days out of the year.
They've been coming for the 3 years that I've worked here. He's very congenial, makes you feel wanted, so we keep coming.
His service is always 100%. No waiting around, no nothing. Just sit down and he's got your coffee for you right away. It's always been that way.
Pete, who's not really Pete, has waited on people at the Great Minnesota Get-Together for 10 years.
I enjoy it. It's in my blood. It's something I just enjoy. My family enjoys it. I've got a son, daughter, my wife, and a lovely family, and we all enjoy it. We live it.
Pete's shop has had the good fortune of a prime location, right in the middle of the cattle barn and the Coliseum. But then Pete's customers have had the good fortune of finding a diner willing to keep the coffee brewing and the grills going for almost 24 hours at a crack.
Now, Andrea and Dennis, my stomach is starting to grumble. I've been out here for a long time. I'm getting hungry, and the stools are kind of empty, and I think that I can talk Pete and his cooks into giving me a little bit something, and then I'll show you why these stools are normally full and why everybody comes to Pete's.
You're first going to have to talk the producer into giving you the time to do that, and I doubt he's going to allow that to you.
Well, if he doesn't allow me to do what I want, he's not bringing anything back from Pete, so.
Okay, well, you'll show him. Thank you,
Thanks,
Carolyn.
Well, it should be a good day for the fair. We hope anyway. Let's check in with Roy and find out what the weather outlook is going to be out there.
Hopefully it'll be nice. How about it, Roy?
Well, it looks more and more pleasant every time I look at all of the data. Looks like it's going to be a very nice day, but later in the day there's a chance of a shower. The current conditions here in the Twin Cities include a temperature of 62 degrees. The skies are mostly cloudy, the wind from the southeast at 5 miles per hour. The dew point temperature is an even 60, relative humidity is 93%, and the pressure is 29.88, and the pressure is falling. It's another one of those days where we're just watching the march of the fronts. They've been over the weekend, one right after the other. Today, during the day, the warm front comes past, so we'll have a little increase in the moisture, a little more sultry kind of a day, and a temperature getting up into the 70s. And then tonight, boom, 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 will come a cold front, and by tomorrow morning it'll be a little nippier and quite a lot drier. And of course, as the fronts go by, there's enough instability to include the chance of a shower in the late afternoon. So the forecast looks this way in detail. Variable cloudiness for this afternoon. Late afternoon thunderstorms possible, 75 to 80 for a high with those southerly winds of 10 to 20 miles per hour. And then for tonight, showers and thunderstorms as the cold front comes past, low of 62 to 67, and the winds coming around northeast at 5 to 15. And then for tomorrow, cloudy with showers and thunderstorms and a high of from 67 to 72 degrees and the winds from the northeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour.
Can we see those fronts once more?
Just keep watching.
By the way, if Roy looks very familiar to you, it's because he spent many years on Channel 5 working weather over there, and we're delighted to have you with us for the second week in a row.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes.
Okay.
Coming up, the cost of fuel for your car or your truck is going to be going up.
While the cost of borrowing money could be coming down. That and more up next in our business report.
So it looks like...
Everything's priced to go during Roseville Chrysler Plymouth's final summer clearance. Like LeBaron GTS's, lots in stock now, but at up to $2,500 off, they won't last long. Or get a sharp new Laser, all models now drastically reduced by $1,500. Plus, Roseville makes it even easier to buy with low 9.5% financing. These are all brand new cars, the last of the Chrysler's 1986 production. Save up to $2,500 on LeBaron GTS's, $1,500 on all Lasers, 9.5% on everything in stock during Roseville Chrysler Plymouth's final summer clearance. Everything goes. Catch it before it's gone.
Tom Thumb reminds you that summer's going fast. So don't wait in line at the supermarket. Go to Tom Thumb, where you can shop fast and save money. Totino's 10-ounce sausage or pepperoni pizza is just 89 cents. Save on Pepsi. A 12-pack of cans is only $2.79. And assorted varieties of 7 to 10-ounce Nabisco snack crackers are just 99 cents. Tom Thumb, where you don't have to spend a lot of money to save a lot of time.
Remember that special feeling called summer? Remember the taste of summer peaches? So cool, juicy, and good for you?
Summer, summer fruits from California, fresh from the tree. Taste them and see.
They have a special sweetness that only summer can bring. But like summer, they'll soon be just a sweet memory.
Summer, summer fruits, it wouldn't be summer without them.
It's now 9 minutes after 6. The Soviet Union says it wants to make money. So Soviet officials are opening up economic communications with China, several Western countries, and several OPEC oil nations. Soviet officials say they want to broaden their economic ties with the outside world. The Soviet Union is currently trying to become a member of a Geneva-based organization seeking to reduce trade barriers.
In our business report this morning, it looks as though there may be some good news for large corporations looking to borrow money.
Kara King says we may have a change coming in the prime interest rate. Good morning, Kara.
Good morning, Dennis. Good morning, Andrea. Well, that's right. Several major banks may cut their prime lending rates this morning. The prime rate is currently at 8%, and last Wednesday, the Federal Reserve Board cut its discount rate. Usually, the nation's major banks will lower the prime rate following the discount rate reduction. Several regional banks have already reduced the prime rate to 7.5%. The stock market is expected to open on a high note in just a few hours. On Friday, the market closed up for the third week in a row. Last week alone, the Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 32 points, and the Dow will open this morning at 1887.80. In our business outlook, Oscar Mayer workers in Madison, Wisconsin have a new 3-year contract this morning. Union members approved the measure by a 7-to-1 vote. Wages will now increase by 70 cents an hour. Workers at Canterbury Downs racetrack are expected to vote this week whether they want any type of union representation. The 1,000 track employees will decide the matter with a simple majority vote. Gasoline prices are increasing. According to oil industry analysts, gasoline has increased by nearly 1.5 cents per gallon in just the last 2 weeks. Analysts say refineries are raising the price of gas to wholesalers, who in turn are passing the increase along to consumers. The new tax reform proposal from Congress contains some sweeping changes. This morning we begin a 5-part series on what you can do to prepare yourself for the new law. Kevin McDowell reports.
You can actually spend money to save money thanks to the new tax plan. Here are some things to spend money on now to avoid taxes later. Buy a big ticket item like a car, a stereo, a refrigerator, or a boat. And you better buy it now, because under the bill, the sales tax and consumer interest on these items will not be deductible. If you've been putting off elective surgery or dental work, do it now. The new bill would make medical deductions harder to take and smaller. If you're used to entertaining clients at the company's expense, do all you can this year. According to the tax proposal, business entertainment costs like tickets and meals are only 80% deductible. As for those magazine subscriptions, pay for as many years as you can now. The cost of subscriptions to professional publications will be harder to deduct under the tax plan. And so tax reform has made possible the consumer's dream of being able to spend money to save money, both at the same time. For Sunrise, Kevin McDowell, News 11.
And tomorrow we'll take a look at how to avoid extra taxes in part 2 of the series.
It's a confusing law. It's supposed to simplify things, but there's a lot to
always
keep
confusing,
up with.
I think.
Thank you, Kara. Buying a home will probably be the most expensive purchase you'll ever make. So when it comes time to sell it, why take a loss or share the profits? Money reporter Steve Crowley reports millions of Americans are cashing in on the FSBO craze, and you can too.
I have a word game for you. It's called FSBO. What it means is for sale by owner, and a lot of people are doing just that right now successfully. Do you use it? What about the Rick and Jennifer Johnson tell me they've been successful at this before when they sold their home in Atlanta. Now, just 1 year later, with a job change, they're moving back.
In fact, the real estate company there had it 9 months, and then we took it off the market for a while and put it back on ourselves and sold it right away.
Really?
Yeah.
You're prepared right now to take a check and fill out the forms?
That's correct.
And you think you're going to sell it this week, next week?
We feel like we will. We have one offer in hand now, and we expect another one today.
You know, if you live in a great neighborhood like this one, your house is clean and saleable, well, there's just no reason you can't try to sell your house yourself. At least you might save the commission. $8,000 is what the Johnsons will save. That's the first plus. Of course, they know what they're doing. They already have a buy-sell agreement prepared. They'll use an attorney for the closing. Also very important, they're being cautious about accepting offers. They want to make sure the potential buyer is qualified, can get a mortgage approved. The flip side to all this, things can go wrong when you don't use a professional realtor. You might get strung out and delayed by a buyer who just isn't qualified. You might not have the right sales agreement or the proper language in the contract. A lawyer specializing in real estate is a must here. And just as important, you might not have the right contacts or sales expertise to sell your home. Remember, you're paying the advertising bills, you're taking all the calls. If this doesn't sound like you just might need a realtor. So the bottom line is, yes, in this case, Rick and Jennifer will probably sell their own home, and they'll probably save about $8,000 in commissions.
Steve Crowley for News 11 Sunrise.
If you have any questions for Steve, just drop him a note with a self-addressed stamped envelope to KARE-11, 811 Olson Memorial Highway. That's 8811, I should say, Minneapolis. And the zip is 55427.
Our 8 got cut off there, didn't it? Still to come this morning on Sunrise, a big day for youth and judging at the State Fair. We'll tell you why.
And a part of the farm economy is showing some signs of recovery. We'll tell you what part.
The U.S. government is spending money on a new South American program this morning. We'll have details on that.
And the Twins have a day off today. We'll tell you why some people say they need it. That and more when Sunrise continues.
This is a unibody. For fuel economy and safety, practically every car today is made this way. It takes special technology to make this car, and if you have an accident, it takes special technology to repair it. And we can, with Maaco's collision repair system. Our technology, equipment, and trained personnel will restore your car and your confidence to drive it. And we'll back up our work in writing. At Maaco, we bring back the safety as well as the beauty of your car. So for any collision repair, better get Maaco.
This sport coat costs $85. This wool blend suit costs $150. These hop-tack pants cost $25. The selection, even in my size, was tremendous. All the alterations were done free. You see, years ago, I discovered Foreman & Clark. That was about the same time I learned to hit the knuckleball. At Foreman & Clark, you'll find quality men's dress clothing priced right every day. So take my advice. You can look and feel like a winner at Foreman & Clark.
Ford trucks, #1 in the nation, #1 in the Northland for 4 straight years. And closeout prices are one of the reasons why.
This is my 4th Ford pickup. Bought them all at closeout, and this year was the best deal yet.
We wanted the best minivan at the best price. I'm glad we waited for closeout.
I'm glad we waited for Aerostar.
Ranger Super Cab. Bargain price, bestseller built in St. Paul. Who could ask for anything more?
Get the best for less at the closeout sale. On now at your Northland Ford dealers.
The time right now is 6:17. Wisconsin basketball coach Don Nelson is fundraising on behalf of farmers, but he says he is getting more participation than he wants. In the Milwaukee area, apparently someone has been going door to door asking for money. Nelson says that is not part of the campaign he launched last year. Donations for Nellie's Fund can be mailed, but Nelson emphasizes that no door-to-door solicitation is involved.
And Pete Gadara is here with a look at the sports scene.
He is in for Steve Carroll, who has a couple weeks off.
Yep.
Good morning to you. The Twins have a day off.
Yeah, they do, and I think it's going to be a much-deserved day off, much-needed day off.
They didn't have a good weekend, no.
No, they didn't. They had a tough time against the Blue Jays this weekend. Well, the Twins do have a much-needed day off today after losing 2 out of 3 this weekend to Toronto. The Twins relievers blew another game for the Twins yesterday, giving up 3 runs in the 10th inning. The Twins lost that game 7-5. Well, the Twins led early. Well, there was 1 out in the first inning when Kent Herbeck blasted his 26th home run of the season, which ties him for the team lead with Gary Gaetti over the right field wall. The Blue Jays came back and took the lead in the 7th inning, however, on Lloyd Mosby's 19th home run of the year and 100th career homer. And in the 9th inning, the Twins were down by 1 when Roy Smalley looped this double to left field, and that scored Billy Bean from second to tie the game up at 4. Now in the 10th, the Jays had 1 run in already when Ray Fontenot gives up this 2-run single to Garth Orge. The Blue Jays win the game 7-5. The Twins' loss drops them into last place again in the American League West, 15 games behind division-leading California, but still only 3 games out of first place. The Angels beat Baltimore Sunday, while the Rangers beat Chicago to stay at 3.5 games behind the division leaders. In that game from Texas, things were a little wet for a while. Is that Bob Uecker up there? But then Larry Parrish dried out this ball with a blast to left field. Texas trailed 2-1. The Rangers tied it up and then went ahead to stay in the 5th inning on Don Slott's single to left field, scoring rookie Pete Incaviglia. The Rangers are now 9-0 this season against the White Sox. And are you ready for this? It's the pitch of the day. That was Baltimore's Brad Havens, former Minnesota Twin, lobbing the ball into the backstop. Dick Schofield scored from third base for the game winner, giving the Angels the win over Baltimore. And Oriole fans do have more to worry about this morning than that wild pitch. All-star first baseman Eddie Murray says he wants to be traded. That's according to a Washington newspaper. Murray is reportedly upset with the team's handling of his injuries this season. Murray is a lifetime .298 hitter. He's been in Baltimore for 9 seasons. And today is the final day of practice for the U.S. Open Tennis Championships. The Open begins tomorrow in Flushing Meadow, New York. Ivan Lendl is the men's top seed, and Sunday he beat John McEnroe in the Hamlet Challenge Cup Invitational. This is match point, and McEnroe returns wide. Lendl wins easily 6-2, 6-4. Lendl is the defending U.S. Open champ. Martina Navratilova is the top seed for the women. And from the green court to the green grass, Dan Poole is celebrating his second win of the year today and his second win in his career. Poole captured the World Series of Golf title Sunday in Akron, Ohio. Despite shooting a 1-over-par round, Poole beat runner-up Lanny Wadkins by 1 stroke. Poole's win gives him a check for $126,000. And Notre Dame basketball star David Rivers is still in intensive care this morning following a traffic accident yesterday. Rivers was thrown from a van, and he underwent 3 hours of surgery to repair a severely torn abdomen. Rivers led the Irish in scoring these past 2 seasons. And Andrea and Dennis, David Rivers is an outstanding point guard for the team, and they're not sure if he'll be able to play it all this year.
He's going to be in intensive care throughout the week.
For at least 2 weeks, they say.
It's too bad.
So, yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Sure.
Appreciate it, Pete. Today is Monday, August 25th, and it was at this day in 1944 that one of the world's greatest cities was freed from Nazi oppression.
Paris was liberated 42 years ago today. The battle for liberation started 10 days before Allied troops entered the city. The French underground soldiers put on their armbands and came out into the open, fighting for the first time. While street fighting raged, anxious Frenchmen listened to their radios for progress reports on the advancing Allied troops. Finally, on August 25th, French troops entered Paris through the Orleans Gate, and the city was liberated.
Today in history, in 1921, the United States signed a peace treaty with Germany. And August 25th, 1981, the U.S. spacecraft Voyager 2 came within 63,000 miles of Saturn's cloud cover. Pictures were sent back along with data about the ringed planet, providing more detailed information than we had at that point.
If you're going out to buy a birthday gift for a friend, maybe these noted birthdays will spark an idea. Conductor-composer Leonard Bernstein is 68. Alabama Governor George Wallace is 67, and the snarling Gene Simmons of KISS is 37.
Coming up, defense spending and farming and how they're related.
And how some big wheels in farming are moving a little faster. That and more when Sunrise continues.
For over 20 years, Bradley Exterminating Company has been providing quality exterminating services for fine homes, apartments, and businesses. And now, due to popular demand, we've also developed a complete line of quality products for the do-it-yourselfer. All Bradley Exterminating products are easy to use and packed with exterminator punch to get the job done fast. When you have a pest problem, look for a Bradley display in a store near you. Bradley Exterminating products. They work for exterminators, they'll work for you.
Available at White Bear, Ace, Coast to Coast, and Egan Ace.
The Walter Stores again volunteered to be the official dealer sponsor of the Jerry Lewis Telethon. $100 will be donated in your name for every vehicle sold, and you still get the best buys of the year.
Final year-end closeout prices on over 2,000 new Buicks, Fords, Chevys, Chryslers, Mazdas, VWs, and more from $55.88. All available with no down payment. Factory financing from 5.5% or up to $1,500 cash.
Help yourself to a great deal and help Jerry's kids.
At all 6 Walter locations.
I've always enjoyed outdoor cooking, but it's really no fun alone. Trouble is, I travel a lot for business and it hasn't left me much time to develop my social life. But I've found a solution to that problem. It's called Friends. They have an efficient and affordable way to introduce people with similar interests. I've met some really nice single women through Friends, and so can you. Friends can add a whole new dimension to life, but then, isn't that what friends are for? Give them a call.
Get up. Safety belt test at 9. Hurry.
Not another windshield taste test. Count me out.
What? The old pro backing down from a motorhome?
Nothing like that. I'm just tired of trying to convince people to wear safety belts. No one's listening.
Safety belt saved Barbara Mandrell.
You're right. Someone listen. Let's hit the road.
You hungry, partner?
Let's do some donuts on the way in.
Good idea.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
The time right now is 6:24. A new spark has rekindled the flames in the hearts of firefighters in Cottage Grove. They have a new place to call home, a new fire station number 2 located on 80th Street. During the open house, curious visitors got a chance to view the latest in fighting gear. Fighting fire gear.
Fighting fire gear. Roy Findon is here with a look at the weather for today.
Yes, and I want to remind you how it's easy to keep track of how sticky it's going to be with the dew point. Now, the dew point is in the 50s. It's fitful 50s. It's in the 60s. It's sultry. Sultry 60s. This is easy to remember now. We'll have a quiz later.
Is this something they teach you in college?
Yes, and the 70s it becomes stifling. So today we're talking into the sultry area.
I like sultry.
Okay, well, this is your day. The temperature is at 62. The wind from the southeast at 5 miles per hour. The skies are mostly cloudy this morning over the Twin Cities area. And the dew point temperature is right there on the threshold of sultry at 60 degrees. Relative humidity is 93%. And the pressure is 29.88, and the pressure is falling. The people in sports are often saying that winning isn't one thing, winning is the only thing. And in weather, timing isn't just one component. Timing is everything. And there has been almost a daily change of fronts here for the last several days. Possibly something in the forecast that will change that. And the question is a little like spinning a big wheel. Where is it going to stop? Will it stop on a dandy day, and we'll have a couple of days that are just dandy or not so dandy days? Well, most of that can be summed up by taking a look down from space at today's sky conditions this hour this morning. The only shower activity remaining is down here in the southeast, and it is on its way out, and some fairly clear skies here in the center of Minnesota. And then, as we look off to the west, looks like some more cloudiness, so there is no great wash of clear skies that are in our forecast. If we actually painted in the forecast, the fronts on the map, what we would find is a warm front right here along the border with the Dakotas. That's moving through the day, and behind the warm front, in addition to temperatures being a little warmer, the dew point is a little higher, so up into the 60s. And then behind that front, we have a cold front, which is up here, and that's expected in by late tonight, and that will cool things off for tomorrow, maintain instability, and then it may slow down, and we'll be under the influence around that cold front for the next couple of days. Here's the forecast for today in the Twin Cities. We are expecting to have variably cloudy skies and especially a chance of an afternoon thunderstorm, 75 to 80 degrees with south winds. And for tonight, cloudy with showers and thunderstorms, a low of 62 to 67, and northeast winds 5 to 15. For tomorrow, cloudy again, showers and thunderstorms, not nearly as warm, 67 to 62, with northeast winds at 10 to 20 in the passage of that front. And the outlook for the balance of the week shows, at this point at least, partly cloudy for Wednesday, a chance of a shower on Thursday, partly cloudy again on Friday with the temperatures in the 70s.
Getting into some fall weather for the next day or two anyway, aren't we? Cooler, wetter.
Just a hint.
Yeah, okay.
He doesn't want to bind himself.
All right, thanks. In case you're just joining us this morning, here are today's headlines. A security guard was injured this morning at the gates of the state fairgrounds. A man driving a pickup crashed through the entrance gate and hit the security guard. Police caught the driver of the truck when he tried to run away on foot. The condition of the security guard has not been released. A man who tried to retrieve his knapsack off Interstate 94 is in serious condition this morning. Minneapolis police say the victim was walking along an overpass on Chicago Avenue. He dropped his bag onto the interstate, and when he tried to get it, got hit by a car. And people who bought tickets to fly Frontier Airlines are scrambling for new tickets this morning. The airline is out of business. United and Continental Airlines say they will honor Frontier tickets, but Frontier ticket holders will have to wait until